This is the stock market. I want to show you lots of things coming up that I think you're going to find very informative. First thing I want you to do is to read this slide because it gives you an idea of what how we approach the markets and how it would be best for you to use what we share with you. So, important slide to read right here. All right, stock market analysis. We're going to look at the S&P 500. It says an intermediate analysis, and you're going to see the market condition monitor and all of our other tools actually at work here as I bring you this analysis. I want to remind you that I'm going to show the SPY here and some other things, but you can get our full analysis on weekly and daily in the S&P 500, NASDAQ, and the Russell in the indexes, and of course a ton of other work that we do in other symbols by becoming an askSlim level 4 member, and even level 2 and level 3 gets our chart. So you'll be able to get that full analysis on that. But take advantage of the level 4 special that we talked about in this show. All right, so let's start out looking at the charts. We're going to look here at the SPY, and this is the weekly chart in SPY. Now, what we have recently talked about was this period in here, which is a period of risk. And you can see here we had this label as a period of risk right in here, and then we had white in here. These yellow ovals tell you that. And that's where we talked about the ABC pattern declines right in here, as you see, ABC right here, and we were looking for similar right here. Now, we've been in this tight range for almost the last 3 weeks, with the market weakening here on Friday and the gains for the week dwindling away to almost nothing as we look at this. So we've been expecting a choppy period in here and then a pretty sizable decline. It's pretty likely maybe this comes down for another week or two, tries to rally again, but right over here in this period of early part of October through late October is where that biggest period of risk is right there, where we would expect it would be moving to the downside. Now, here, when you get past this declining period and you get into these rising phases, they suggest a rally into November and December. In the beginning of the show, I talked about the likelihood that there would be a bullish period in here, and that I don't think the techs are going to lead that, actually. I think it's going to be the cyclicals and some of the old economy stocks that are going to move up there, because I think the techs are just overpriced, and people are going to be, and hedge fund managers and managers are going to be using the funds from that sector to buy some of the other ones. So that's why I think it'll be a rotationary period. And that in here, in this decline, were it to come as we expect, then this would be the opportunity to be looking at those stocks. And we'll talk about more about that later on. We talked about this repair level, the 78.6% at 455. Were that to be able to get through that level, then that would tell us that the decline that we expected in here of that ABC pattern was not likely to happen, or it wouldn't pull back in any kind of a sharp way. So that's important to look at. Now, we still note the negative momentum that you can see there on our reversal scout. Just as you see it turned down in here, and that brought that last couple of weeks of a big sell-off right there, and the same thing happened right over there. It brought those really 4 or 5 weeks of a pretty sizable decline there. So we're here looking at still negative momentum, and the highest potential is that it will move down. Were it to get above that repair level right there, as I showed a couple of weeks ago, that would then tell us that there is an alternative, and that the bottom was already seen, and that we are already in that rising phase. So that's really our line in the sand, and that tells us a lot. The scenario that you see right over here is the lowest probability scenario, where the scenario right here is the highest probability scenario. But we always want to look at both sides. We always want to have a good sense for where our analysis is changing. And it's not a matter of right or wrong. It's a matter of having our analysis pointing to what is the highest probabilities. The sum of the evidence based on all of our indicators and our cycle analysis. And right now, the sum of the evidence tells us that the period of risk is still ahead of us. If the market tells us to change that, we will do so. Remember that we are cycle analysts and do use many indicators, and this right over here on the bottom are the harmonics in the market. These are the wave actions, and you can see in here the big one, the dominant one, shows you a positive condition as the bull market began right over here, and that we have been in this bull market for quite a period of time and still looking at it to extend out to the 13th, 14th month and even beyond that. So while we're not looking for much higher prices in the stock market and the indexes, and maybe not even a move to all-time highs, this is still very positive formations that we see in here, and the likelihood when this decline is over with, it will stop in these supports and then we'll move up again. We have upgraded this based on the time that's passing in here, and while we looked for a move potentially down to 410, we're now looking for 430 down to about 420, as you can see there, as our targets here for this corrective period that we're looking at. So you see what the alternative is based on if this doesn't happen and what our warning will be. So we want to be very clear about that. Let's take a look at all of our indicators here as we look at our grid that has all of them on there, and just so that you understand what's here. Our level 4 members get this, and this is the Russell that you can see right there, and this is the weekly. The reason we have it over here is just to give us the weekly momentum condition, because that just tells us on some of the intermediate or longer term analysis what is likely to be affecting the markets. Here you can see on the Russell that we have in here our analysis on the daily chart, because I have uploaded that to the Thinkorswim platform. I've done it on there, and you can, if you're a level 4 member, you can do so also. Level 3 and level 2 members get static versions of these charts. You can see here the slim ribbon PO is negative, actually turning down again. And here is the option bias indicator, as I showed a great example of. If you didn't watch it in the beginning of the show, I showed the airlines and transportations and how to use the combination of the slim ribbon PO and the option bias indicator. And here you can see this is negative down over here, saying bias yourself to the negative side. Here on the 2-hour chart, you can see it was negative. It is now turned neutral here on the Russell, and the shorter term, which is shown with all of the analysis in the stock in the daily live charts that Matt supplies with all his great analysis in the SIR live stream, where you get all the indexes on that. And you can see that this is negative here intraday on Friday, and I'll show you the MCM and how that looks also. So here you can see on the bottom here the askSlim market condition indicator. As it fails here through the swing zone, gives us a negative reading here under -25, which tells you it's in trouble, and you can see in here as it moved down right there. So this is the multiple chart grid that has all of our indicators on it. And let's just look at the SPX right over there, and you'll notice here in SPX it doesn't have the analysis on there. You have to be a level 4 member to be able to upload that on there, and I'll just put that there, and you can see now that's our analysis for a pullback. I can actually blow this up, and you can see the analysis right there, where we're looking for maybe another 3, 4, 5 days to the downside, and then trying to the upside one more time. So that's the daily analysis that you can see. You can see that this is different than the Russell because you have this positive condition right over here, and you're neutral here on the market, on the option bias indicator, and you're positive to neutral here on the market condition indicator. So it's giving you a good idea how the S&P 500 is much stronger than the Russell is. And one more peek we'll take in here just so that you can get everything on here is the NASDAQ. And you'll see the NASDAQ in here as I upload the daily analysis. And the same thing, looking for down for maybe 3, 4, 5 days, and then trying the upside again before getting into that period of risk. And again, this is stronger looking at the slim ribbon PO. And also looking at the option bias indicator as neutral that you can see right here, and also seeing this kind of neutral to positive reading on the market condition indicator. And again, look what happened here as this turned negative. And don't miss the stock index report live, SIR live stream that Matt posts every single day. It's running live right now, and you'll be able to get all his great analysis on that. So this is the multiple grid analysis. If you want to see Apple, you can put them all in there. It just fills them all in there, as you can see, and you can upload our analysis if you're a level 4 member. So take advantage of that special for level 4. Wanted to show you that just so that you can get the great idea of how we can refer to all of our indicators and compare the different indexes. So that's, again, a look at the SPY, and this is the SPY weekly, and we can see that it is now moved to the downside for the week, giving up all of those gains that it had, as right now we're looking at some sizable declines of over 40 points for the day here in the S&P 500. So big decline here on Friday, and it could get worse as it's given up all of those gains. Let's take a look at the MCI. I want to move away from that for a second. That's what we showed earlier in the show. And that is the results for the great work that Katie does. This is the intermediate look at the stock market. You can look at, well, I'm looking at the trader version. You can look at the individual time frames. You can see intermediate, this is slightly bullish, though the Russell, as I showed you, is bearish. The Dow Jones is neutral. And there you could see Apple is slightly bearish. Also, when I look at the short term, you can see these are still showing bullish readings, even though we have this big decline today. So that's you've had bullish readings in here for most of this week in the short term. In the near term, if you were, let's say, just a few day swing trader, you could see these are all now turned neutral. And if you were a near-term intraday trader, you would use that intraday right there, and you can see that these have now turned bearish. And when you look at the SIR live stream that Matt shows, you can see how those turned bearish and the timing that they did, and where the supports are in acceleration zones. You need to be a level 2 member to be able to see that in the SIR live stream. So that's a look at the intermediate right there again. And if you just I can scroll down in here, and you'll get an idea as to the how this works and what the different stocks are right in here. This is looking at our 84 best traded stocks, and I can just say, tell me the very bullish in there, and it'll give you those top 3, as you could see: OIH, Shopify, and India. And if I look here at the worst 3, you have Corn, how do you like that, and Pfizer, and IBB. Those are the ones that I'm showing you in the top 3 of very bearish. So just an amazing tool, and for level 4 members, I don't know how you could possibly not have this. I mean, it's just fantastic. So that's a look at what we're going to look at in here today. I think that that's just an amazing amount of information that I shared with you. Again, the stock market has given up everything this week and is now moving to the downside for the week as risks mount. Especially led down by the semiconductors. Today, after the news came out that Taiwan Semiconductor believes that there's a slowdown ahead, and they are delaying some of their equipment that they use to produce the semiconductors, and that is pushing the NASDAQ to the downside pretty hard, as that's losing 250 points right now here at the midday period. So that is my view of the stock market for this week and using our indicators. I hope that was very valuable to you. I want you to go to our askSlim.com site right now. If you're not a level 4 member, go look at the information. Click the Learn More button. We have never offered 37% off on this before. $99 for a 1-month trial, one-time use, and you're going to get all this information in here and everything, every single thing that we offer, you're going to have access to. It's just too much for me to tell you right now. Just go to the top of the site, click Learn More. The information is there. You get everything in level 4 plus levels 3, 2, and 1, and all of the amazing support from our team.